This video is sponsored by Osama bin Russell and Kimi Talibantonelli. What is the ideal camera for motorsports? Is it A. a full-frame camera plus a 100 to 500 super telephoto? Or B. a 1-inch sensor digital rangefinder style pocketable camera with a fixed 32mm lens and contrast detect AF that shoots vertical JPEGs only? If you said B, then you're as delusional as I am.
That does not make sense.
In September, I had the opportunity to attend the Dutch F1 GP at Zandvoort. And unfortunately, the Dutch GP organizers are kind of party poopers. You can take only fixed lens cameras. Interchangeables are a no-no. Sony refuses to give us an RX100-8, which would be amazing for this use case. But then again, Sony is a master at not giving consumers what they ask for. Thus, I thought, why not take my new charcoal Fuji X-Half and try to see if I can make any semi-decent motorsports pics with it? The answer is no.
Aww.
But stay with me for more camera impressions. While lots of people were hoping for an X70 fixed lens successor, Fuji decided to give us something nobody asked for. A half-frame fixed lens camera that shoots vertical images. A callback to older half-frame cameras, and admittedly not an out-of-place idea for the modern portrait-oriented media consumer. Let's see if Fuji did better than a smartphone in this respect. Let's get this out of the way. The trackside images I got from a Dutch GP were, I'd say, it went as well as Ferrari fared in the race. A focal length of 32mm from the distance I was sitting at doesn't really cut it for motorsports. I resorted to trying some panning shots, but I had a poor hit ratio with those as well. So I ended up playing around with the filters in hope of at least getting a couple of aesthetic shots. Even that proved to be a tall order, especially given the fact that I have no talent. Since the Zandvoort collection was pretty meh, let's check out some snaps from the nearby city of Haarlem, which is well worth a visit. The city features a big cathedral, canals, and a traditional Dutch windmill, among others. If you're considering going to the 2026 Dutch GP, which will be the last one for a while, Haarlem is a convenient location for your accommodation, being about 20 minutes from the track with public transportation. The X-Half is a pretty little camera. The looks are iconic, and it very much resembles a baby X106 or a GW690. While I heard a lot of complaints about the plastic build, the anthracite version seems pretty solid to me. It's easily hand-holdable with one hand, weighing in at about 325 grams with all accessories attached. But at the same time, it has some heft to it and feels dense for its size. The dials are pleasant, giving a tactile experience that can't be matched by any other compact or smartphone. The shutter button is trash, hard to dependably half-press to autofocus. I've taken many an autofocus shot by not being able to gauge the exact pressure level needed. The X-Half features a film advance lever with a dual purpose. It triggers the 2-in-1 picture mode where two portrait images are collaged together, and it virtually advances to the next frame in film camera mode. The lever could have had more resistance and actually felt like a real film advance lever. It's not as if Fujifilm doesn't know how to make one. The camera, as sold, is not very grippable, but its ergonomics are greatly boosted by small rig accessories, a dedicated video on which is coming soon. Its form factor makes it a very suitable everyday carry camera. It's quite easy to fit in a large pocket or tiny camera case that you are more likely to take with you than leave at home. Its fixed 32mm equivalent f2.8 aperture lens does not come with a filter thread. This is kind of a bummer for avoiding fingerprints and generally protecting the front lens element. So SmallRig has resorted to a magnetic attachment mechanism for its X-Half filters. Let's not beat around the bush here. The AF is a train wreck, or rather, a car wreck.
Look, there's Antonelli on the inside. Oh, they tangle! And a second Ferrari goes out at turn 3.
The AF point is too large, so it's impossible to focus precisely. Focusing on a flower, branch, etc. is an exercise in frustration. Given its contrast detect autofocus, fast action is a no-no. At night, trying to focus in dimly lit conditions is close to hopeless. At a social gathering, half of the time, it could not lock onto anything or it misfocused entirely, despite the AF assist light. It was also awkward, because I had to have my subjects stay still for like 10 seconds.
Wait a minute.
In hope of the AF finally locking onto a face. This is a shame, because as it comes with a LED flash, you'd think it would lend itself to direct flash party pics, but the AF makes this almost impossible. Owning a 1-inch camera already, the Sony ZV-1, I would have thought the X-Half would be able to pull off a similarly capable image quality. I will do a proper comparison between the two, but let's say things are not looking very good for the X-Half. ISO starts out at 200, which for 2025 standards is a bit of a bummer. But I assume they're getting their sensors from the old trusty Sony 20 megapixel, which goes down to ISO 125 in the SOS standard on the Sony, which is roughly 200 in Fuji terms, with a Ray standard. Note that on the Fuji, the full 20 megapixels are not utilized, yielding 17 megapixel instead. The camera shoots JPEG only, which I don't mind since it's meant for snapshots. The aperture goes to f11, which can still be a bit too bright for daylight, depending on the use case. For the Grand Prix, I had to attach a SmallRig variable ND to be able to try panning shots with a slow enough shutter. Another bummer is that while Fuji did include their most popular film simulations, but not all, they did not incorporate the ability to save custom profiles so as to emulate other custom simulations. So setting up Vibrant Arizona or Regis Portra is a no-go. This is quite disappointing, to be honest.
Disappointed!
I was in disbelief about how comically bad the Fuji X-Half grain looked in other reviews. That is, before I got to see it with my own eyes. For a company that has so much experience with grain in their X series, it seems they really dropped the ball with this one. Despite the sensor real estate and the proper optics, the output is dangerously close to smartphone territory, if not worse in many cases. As for night photography, with an f2.8 lens, no IBIS and a small sensor, you can pretty much kiss it goodbye. Or goodnight, for that matter. It's still possible for well-lit scenes, but you're more likely to get something decent in black and white mode to somewhat mask the poor high ISO IQ. The list of available filter options is pretty extensive, and some can be quite fun, though film simulations and filters are mutually exclusive, so you can't combine them. My favorite filters so far have been Color Shift, Color Pop, Light Leak, Selective Color, and Expired Film. These will keep you busy for quite a while before you've tried all of them. The X-Half is equipped with a slow processor that doesn't exactly make it a speed demon in operation.
Oil leak, I'm out. Failure.
Okay.
You'd think that for $850 at launch, they could afford to put something decent in there. The touch interface is intuitive enough. There is no auto landscape orientation, so you have to rotate them in post or, for instance, Google Photos or similar. Write times are so long that the user does not understand why they cannot take the next pic. Browsing images is not responsive either. It doesn't help that there appear to be no firmware updates on the horizon which could offer AF improvements, speed improvements, more simulations and more filters. This is quite interesting for a company that used to pride itself on the Kaizen philosophy. As for the film mode, to be honest, I haven't bothered. I've seen in other reviews that the viewfinder is not very accurate, so I'm not looking forward to using this mode. Let's be real. For $850 at launch and even at $650 with current rebates, the value for money for this camera is a yoke.
Yoke.
Fujifilm really jumped the shark with this one, trying to pull an apple. If you're not a fashion victim or gear nut like me, better wait for the second-hand prices to drop. If you want a far more capable EDC, you're better off saving some extra bucks and getting a Fuji X-Half, a Ricoh GR, or any of the tiny micro four thirds cameras available. The X-Half came with its own app that allows for the usual image import, but also facilitates the film mode experience by acting as the lab where a virtual film roll can be developed. The X-Half app has been more reliable at connecting to the camera than the X app for the X-series cameras, at least for me. Browsing the image gallery on the camera wirelessly is very slow because every image takes a long time to load, making it pointless. Finally, there is no resize option, but 17 megapixel is manageable, so that's okay. Overall, this camera seems like a missed opportunity, or a cash grab if you will. The concept of a 1-inch half-frame vertical-first mini digital rangefinder with nice physical dials and the special film roll experience simulation is a good one. The implementation is quite half-assed though. It's a shame because it could have been amazing with Fuji's know-how, but it seems they didn't fully put their heart into it. Its only saving grace is its cuteness, physical controls and the ability it offers you to have Fujifilm sims in your pocket. Therefore, I'm inclined to give it a ranking of Scuderia Ferrari F1 Team. If you like the looks, appreciate the sentimental value of snapshots over technical image quality, and have 700-ish euros burning a hole in your pocket, the Fujifilm X-Half may be a viable choice for you. For the rest, there are plentiful choices that make more sense than this camera. Thanks for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe and click the bell button. And if you're interested in tips on locating the best camera deals, check out my previous video.